everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel and here in my craft room. My name's Kathy and you are here at Random Acts of Stampin', and I am so glad that you have taken some time from your day. I'm continuing my study today in Card Making 101. I was at Craft Acropolis and I ran into several people that were new card makers. They didn't know where to start, so I have been trying to do some series that will help you along the way. And I think one of the things we struggle with the most is how to choose our paper and a design, and I'm hoping that today's lesson will help you in that in the future. So what I usually do is I will find a piece of pattern paper that I like, and then I will go into my stash of cardstock and I'll pull out what I have that would go with this. So I see white in there, so I have a piece of white. I see some pink, so I have a pink. I also see a deep burgundy, so I have burgundy, and I see some yellow scattered throughout, so I have a piece of yellow. So this is going to be what I call my palette. It's like when you paint a picture, every good artist has a palette with their colors, and this is no different with building a card. You need a palette and you need to decide where you're going to go. The other thing, I don't know if you know this, but on Pinterest there are things called card sketches. This is what a card sketch looks like. It is basically an outline of a design, and you can build it and you can make it look different depending on what you use. So I'm going to show you what I would do with this. I have me a notebook and a pencil. Let me grab my pencil so that I can make some notes as I go. If I can grab my pencil over here. I got everything kind of pushed down into my, there we go. So I have a pencil and I have paper and I have what I need here, and I have my diagram over here. The first thing I want to do is decide what color I want my base. So when I first started with this, I was thinking the pink for my base, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking maybe I want to do the base at the burgundy, but then I really love to showcase this printed paper on the darker paper. See how pretty that is? There's also some lavender in here, so if you wanted to bring in lavender, would be very pretty. Just so many different colors. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my card base out of the pink. So I'm going to grab my trimmer and I'm going to open it up and grab my pink piece of cardstock. I'm going to lay this in on this is my 11-inch side right here. I'm going to lay this in at 5.5. Half of 11 is 5.5. We're making A2 size cards, so it's very easy to get 2 card bases from one piece of paper. So looks like my blade is a little bit not as sharp as it was, so I'm going to change my blade. The blades on this one are so easy to change. You just slide it on and you're good to go. Alright, so now you can see I have a little bit of fuzzy on that card. If that happens when you are cutting, you can take just a nail file, a buffer that you get at any Walmart, Sally's, any place that sells any beauty supplies, and you can sand that off. This is a great trick, and I always keep one of these in my drawer right here beside me so that I can do that if I need to. So now we need to score this, so I'm going to flip this over and turn this into my scoreboard, and I'm going to put this up in that top corner, and I want to score this. This is the 8.5-inch side, so we're going to score this at 4 1/4. So 4 1/4. It's right there, and then I'm going to fold this over, and while I've got that in my trimmer, just like that, nice and even. I'm going to give this a burnish. This will assure that my card base is going to lay nice and straight. And we'll do a little bit more once we get this out of our way. I'm going to flip that back over because I know I'm going to be doing more trimming. We also need a mat that is 4. So I'm going to cut this at 4. Yeah, that blade cuts much better. 4 by 5 1/4. And that is going to lay on top of this, like that. Now we can cut our mats out of this one. And this one, I want this one to be 1.5 by 5. So I'm going to come over here and cut it at 1.5. And it's still doing my paper a little wonky. I don't like that. Maybe I'll switch trimmers for right now and figure out that might have been a used blade. Let's just set this over here. And I'm going to grab another trimmer. And we're going to cut this at 5. So that gives us our strip. And we're also going to need a piece of this that is going to be, that was 1.5, so we're going to go to 1 1/4. So 1 1/4. And I like to cut all of my mats first. And we're going to cut this off at 4 3/4. And then this is going to mat on top of here. And you can already see what a beautiful card we're going to get from this. So now we're going to take another piece of this and we're going to cut it to, well, we need a mat. So let's cut us a mat that is 2 1/8 by 2. So I'm going to do 2 inches this way. About 2 1/8 this way. And that's going to live like right there. Then we're going to also need a piece that is 2 by 1 3/4. So that's going to be out of this one. And I think I want to do it right about up here. So we're going to do it 2 by 1 3/4. I want more of that, so I'm going to bring it up to about there. I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to turn it this way and bring it to 1 3/4. And that's going to give us this piece that will mat. Oops. Should have cut it the other way. That's going to mat like that. I think it's going to be fine. Then we need our bottom piece, and the bottom piece is 2 1/8 by 2 7/8. So see if we have 2 1/8 here. Yep, that's 2. All right, let's do 2 7/8. So that would be right there. By 2 1/8. Now I'm going to have all of these measurements on our blog. Let's see, that's not fitting. 2 1/8. Yeah, that one needs to go like that. So I did cut this right. There we go. And then this goes here. And we need this piece to be 2 by 2 5/8. So I'm going to do my 5/8. I'm going to do my 2 first. Now let's see. 2 5/8 would be 2 5/8. 2 5/8. I need this to be 2. By 2 5/8. And see how beautiful everything matches up on that. And now when we lay this down onto this piece, let's go ahead and start gluing our pieces together. And then we can watch this card literally come together. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use my flat bone folder and I'm going to really burnish this. This is very thick cardstock and it has a tendency to want to curl up a little bit, but we're going to train it because it's paper and you can train paper to do what you want it to do. Then we're going to take this mat and put it down just like that. So I'm going to use some liquid glue. You could use a tape runner here if you wanted, or two-sided tape, but I decided that I like liquid glue. It gives me that little bit of wiggle room, so if I don't put it down exactly in the right place, I have time to wiggle it just a little bit before I commit to it. That looks pretty good. Just like that. And I like to go over it with my bone folder just to make sure I press out all that glue. Now we're going to go ahead and glue these pieces to our small mats. And again, I'm just going to use liquid glue. Now this is a very simple card sketch. It's one I think anybody could take these dimensions and make a card with it. It's just so simple. So, and this paper is gorgeous. This was Crafter's Companion, and I think it was a free pack that I got from placing an order with stampbook.com. They always seem like they have freebies when you order from them. It's always nice to get a freebie. Okay, that piece is down. And we have this last one. Oops. And then that one's going to go right about here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this one on, give ourselves that 1/8 of an inch on this side of the yellow. And we'll just put some glue. I have been having some difficulties with my glue press. It's been wanting to clog up on me, but I think it's low on glue, and when it gets a little low, it seems like the glue doesn't want to press out as easily. Let's grab a bottle and see if we can, yeah, that's much better. Now I want to be careful when I set this down. I want that 1/8 of an inch top and side and bottom. Something like that. Then we're going to take this little piece and it's going to go right here. Just like that. So put glue on the back of it. Give it a good press. And then this one will go right here. And again, we'll put glue on the back. And set this one down like this. The most important thing in this card is just being really careful to get your layers, evened up. So now I'm going to take a piece of this scrap and I want to cut an oval or a circle, because if you remember in our diagram we had a circle in the middle. You can do an oval, you can do a square, you can do scallop, you can do whatever you want to do. Any type of framelit that you want to put in the middle. And I think what I want to do is maybe I'm going to do a 2-inch I have a 2 1/4 inch scallop and I have a 2-inch circle. So let's see if we can get, yep, that will work. So I'm going to punch that and lay it right there. And then I'm going to take my 2-inch, and I don't have a piece, oh, maybe that will work. I do, I didn't even have to cut into that. So if you got scraps, this is a great way to use them up. But this is going to go right here in the middle. Or you could use the yellow if you like the yellow. That would be pretty. And why not try it both ways and see. I've got a little scrap of yellow here. Let's see if we like the yellow better. If we do, we can easily stamp our message on this. That just looks like sunshine, doesn't it? And that can go right there. And this is our layout. Very cute, very easy to do. So I'm going to stamp a sentiment on this one. Let me grab a stamp set and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I did find a stamp set, and this one is called Sick Day, and it has a Get Well Soon, and it's got I hope you are on the mend. So I am going to use some of this on the inside, and I'm going to use some on the outside. The Get Well Soon, I think, is what I want to use for the front circle. So I'm going to stamp that. Let me grab a stamp block. And we don't need a very big one. This is a fairly small sentiment. I don't think I've used this, so I'm going to use the stamp conditioner. And I'm just going to go over top of this stamp with this little, this is from Altenew, and it is a stamp conditioner. And it really does make your stamps, when they're brand new, sometimes you have to condition them. And although I am using the Stellar ink, and the Stellar inks are very juicy, so a lot of times you don't even need to do that with these, but I did just so I could show you the product, and you could, if you have that problem, you can get this, and I'll have a link below the video. And I'm going to stamp that as best in the center as I can get it. Give it a good press, let that ink transfer to the paper, and then lift it up. Beautiful image. I have never been disappointed with any of these Stellar inks. These are put out by Ranger, but they're Simon Hurley is the developer that did this. And this one's called Black Widow. They do come in some other colors. The Stellar ink I only have in the Black Widow, and it is a beautiful black. And it shows up so well on whatever you stamp it on. Now I'm going to pop this up a little bit because I want some dimension. So you can use the dimensional tape or little pop dots, whatever you have. And I'm going to put maybe about 4 on here. Something like that. And peel off. And I'll pop that down. What I like to do is maybe hold this up so when I put it on here I can get it nice and even. And I think sometimes holding it up like this gives you a better hand with it. So now that's ready to go down right in the middle of our card, just like that. And it's pretty. It has some fall colors, but it also looks bright and cheery. And I think anybody that's, you know, been down in the weather, they like to get something that's a little more cheery than something dark. So, but with it being fall, I think the burgundy definitely gives it a nice feel for this time of the year. So I'm going to pop that down right there. And then I want to cut a piece of the yellow. Let's move some of this out of our way. I'm going to cut a mat to go inside my card. And for this one, I think I'm going to use the yellow because I really want to kind of keep that yellow theme going throughout the card. So I'm just going to cut a piece off of this piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. And that will give us the perfect mat size. All A2 size cards are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So the mat size goes down 1/4 of an inch, which makes this 4 by 5 1/4. And what we'll do is we'll stamp it and then put it right in the middle there. So for this one, I want it to say, I hope you're on the mend. And I may use my stamp positioner for this because I think anytime you're using more than one stamp, it's nice to get it lined up, you know, really perfectly. Or as, we don't do perfect because these are handmade cards, but you want it to look nice. And I'm going to take the smaller Band-Aid just for a little, just a little something extra in there. And I'll shoot that right there. And let's grab, I'll grab my small Misty. And I saw yesterday that my Sweet Petunia has a couple of new products out that has already debuted. I have not had them in hand. In fact, I have not seen them yet other than on YouTube. But I'm anxious to see how those are going to go over. I don't know if it's something that I would be interested in investing in at this point, because my Misty and my stamp wheel pretty much give me what I need. So I'm going to put that right like that. And I think I want to put the Band-Aid right there. I might stamp another Band-Aid down here, but I'm going to go ahead and pick these up. And the good thing with this is because I have the sticky mat in here, I can put this right back in the corner and my stamps will definitely stamp right where I want them to. So again, I'm going to use the Stellar ink in the Black Widow, and I'm going to ink that. I think I'm going to ink the Band-Aid in pink. Maybe try, I don't know, I might just do it. I'll do it in the Pretty in Pink. This is another, oops, this is another Stampin' Up! Ink pad, but I am going to use these because I have them, but I'm going to incorporate them with other inks as well. So there, I'm just going to try this and give everything a good press. A lot of times if you've got one of these little rags, you can just rub it across your door like that, and everything will pick up beautifully. I think that's so cute. And now it's whether or not I want to move this, and I think I do, and I want to set it, and when I set this down it's going to have to stay here because it's got ink on it. Something, oops, hopefully that didn't mess the card up. I'm going to pick it up. Yeah, see, it left a little residue of pink ink, but that's okay. I think it's going to be alright. And I think I'm going to go ahead and ink the sentiment over again as well, just to get a little bit brighter image on it. And that looks really good. I'm very, very pleased with the way that turned out. So let me get my inks closed. An open ink pad is nothing more than a recipe for disaster, especially where I'm concerned, because I can put my hand in an ink pad faster than anyone. So I'm going to take a little bit of stamp cleaner, and I'm going to go ahead and clean off my Misty. And see what I did? I think I might have got it on my card. I'm going to wipe it really quick and hope that I didn't. I think it's okay. But I did spray some on this piece of paper. So when I use this paper, I'm going to have to remember to make sure I use the other side. That was not what I intended to do. So be careful if you're using your spray. That's a good thing about the Altenew stamp wheel. You turn it over and it protects your work, and you can clean your stamps right with them on the wheel and not have any damage to any of your paper products, because it closes everything up in there, which is super nice. Maybe I should have grabbed that instead of my Misty. But they're both great platforms. I use this little Misty because it's perfect for card makers because of its size. A lot of times if I have something bigger, I'll tend toward the stamp wheel. But this is perfect. You can see it fits in one hand. There's my hand, and there's my Misty. It's like perfect sizing. I have some magnets in here, but I also have a sticky mat. You can see my sticky mat right there, and that helps my cardstock to stick to it so I don't have to use the magnets. But I do embrace my Misty. I like it a lot, and I do turn to it quite often. Alright, I'm going to clean these stamps a little bit more thorough. I'm going to put some cleaner right here, and I'm going to do this. I think sometimes if we scrub them on a hard surface, they clean a little bit better than they do. Let's see if that one doesn't look better. Yeah, this particular ink will stain your stamps, but it doesn't damage them. So get those cleaned off really good. And I'll do this one. Found my little wet spot. And the microfiber towels, these things are so nice to use. And I just throw mine in the washing machine and wash them, and they're good to go again. But these are super, super good, and I love them. Now let me show you a trick to putting your stamps back on your piece. If you take your stamp set and open it up to expose where your print is, you can lay this down directly over it, line it up, and put it right back where it was. Especially if you're doing the writing ones, they're so easy to line back up like that. And then I have the little band-aid, so let's line that up. And there, we're good to go. So my stamps are all back in their designated spot. Let's bring our card back over. I'm going to wipe this, make sure I didn't leave any residue or what have you on my surface. And I am going to go ahead and glue this in. So with some art glitter glue, I'm just going to run a bead of glue across the top, down the side, the bottom, and up the other side. And then I'm just going to squiggle. You know, squiggle's definitely a technical card making term. And then I'm just going to sit it in here. I like to be silly with y'all because it's fun, and card making should be fun. So this is a great card to send out to someone that may be a little under the weather. I think this would cheer anyone up. I think it turned out to be a beautiful card, and all we did was used a card sketch to get this particular pattern. Now I can make it again and make it totally different. You could do these in coordinating different patterns. You could do this in plaids and use different colors. There's so many different ways that you can do this card that would make it look totally different. You could use solid cardstocks and maybe stamp something on them. Just so many ideas for this card. They are pretty much endless. So I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial and seeing how to use a card sketch. Some of you older card makers, and I don't mean age-wise, I'm talking experience, probably have done card sketches before. They've been around forever, but it is a great way to make your cards. And what I always suggest you do is get a small pack of designer paper, and this is the paper I used, and you can see it's beautiful floral designs, all different designs in it. And this is 36 piece, it's Crafter's Companion, and it is the Meadow Garden, and I think that's a perfect name for it. And it's just lovely paper, absolutely gorgeous. And any piece that you take out of here is going to make a beautiful card, no doubt. And you could use the back side for one side and the front for the other. But this is so pretty, I think you could use any of them and all of them. It is just gorgeous. But anyway, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you learned something, leave me a comment and let me know that, hey, that was a good idea. I don't know that you watch my videos if you don't comment, because I can't see who clicks on and watches my videos. I only know if you leave me a message. So take the time to type me just a message. It can just be a couple words, but it lets me know that you were here and that you liked what you saw. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much, and until we craft again, remember what I always say: let everything that you do and say, every word, every action, bring honor and glory to our Savior Jesus. He is so worthy. Until next time, God bless and keep you, and we will craft again soon. Bye-bye.